Welcome to Season Chasers. I'm Rob Freeman. Those that love nature and outdoor sports spend a lot of quality time looking for adventure throughout the year. The more you study, the more you learn about the peak seasons in nature. It's fun to know when it's best to go fishing or hunting, when it's time to pick blueberries, wild mushrooms, or native pecans. Sometimes the peak season is close to home, right in your own backyard, or it could be miles away near the mountains and the sea. Either way, this program will chase the seasons where the action is hot.
This week on Season Chasers, a glimpse of the new adventures coming soon.
It's all about the seasons.
Crappie catching in southeast
We'll add
Kansas,
this one to the stack.
a special dove harvest, lots of Alaska fishing, and much, much more.
Fillet out some really nice kings and cut them into portions.
Several big portions of outdoor fun served up next on Season Chasers.
The season is spring. It's the last week of May, and we're in one of these county crappie lakes here in southeast Kansas. We're calling it a crappie lake because that's what we're catching today. That's what we're after anyhow.
On the retrieve.
That's got to just be chumming it up down there.
Yeah.
There you go.
One thing we've learned for sure that this is not a go fast lake. I've got a 50 horse outboard on this boat, but we haven't even fired it up all day. There's so much trees and brush here in the way that last thing I want to do is tie into that with moving gas operated propeller. So we're just using the trolling motor today, and most of our fishing, I believe, is going to be back in the coves, and in most instances when we think we're going to find the fish, we're going to tie up and really work it out. So not any long casts going on here, a lot of up and down movement close in, so we want to get right on top of the fish and get them in the boat today, and if we do, we might get them in the pan before the morning's over. That's the whole idea. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're out here at a new place and we're scouting for crappie, and we found a few. I got a little bit of a plastic crawdad on here. I've been putting a little crappie nibble with it, and here's a little crappie for us to nibble. Woo woo! And we're going to try to get a whole basket full of these today, and the limit at this place is 50 a day per person. And if we end up with 50 like this, we're going to have a heck of a cleaning party. But we're going to try to bring you some of the action today as we share crappie season. It's probably about the middle of May, and got some warm enough water to get these crappie up into some shallower water, and they're feeding. And we'll get this guy in the basket. We'll show you what we got so far. Here's what we've got. We'll add this one to the stack. Crappie season, a lot of fun here, southeast Kansas. The season is almost summertime. It's mid-June, and it's that time of year when the kings and the reds come back to cook inland Alaska. And I've been asked to help process some of this year's catch so far, and so far we've been able to fillet out some really nice kings and cut them into portions that we're going to put into a vacuum sealer, get them all cleaned up and dried off, and ready for keeping for later on use. And those are kings that we have so far. I'll show you one of those and how we process those in a little bit. But here's one of the red salmon. This is a sockeye, and it's already been had the head and tail taken off and all the fins and everything. So at this point, really all there is to do is fillet it and get it in the proper size to put in the vacuum sealer. We use this firm-bladed Dexter Russell knife and run it right along the backbone here, cutting these rib bones as we go. Here we go. This is sockeye salmon. We're going to go ahead and cut these rib bones out next, but that's some of the most beautiful, nutritious fish that comes out, seafood that comes out of the ocean. And really, really good stuff. I think this stuff's headed for the smokehouse. There's some left on this that's worth putting in for stew and everything, but that's not a whole lot left over. What remains, some really, really nice fillets, sockeye salmon. That's about as fresh as it gets here in West Cook Inlet. Today we're chasing the silver salmon, Alaska's Chewitna River, and kind of the significance, in addition to salmon for this river, is it's an area that's really threatened by a coal mine that the company wants to build up in the valley that feeds this river, and that's something that's never been done in Alaska before. The state officials have never allowed mining through an existing salmon stream. And that's the big controversy that's going on here. I've been fishing this river for over 15 years, and it's one of my favorite places to go. But right behind me, you'll see the reason why somebody wants to mine coal. There's big loafs of coal through this valley, and it's not particularly a high quality type of coal. This is, you know, shale and coal goes. I'm told that you know, the more pure it is, the better it is for heating and this sort of thing. This is a low grade of coal that really isn't good for burning in any of the regulations throughout the United States. The company that has plans to mine the coal wants to put it on big, deep draft ships and sell it to countries over in Asia. But there's a lot of us here that wonder if it's not legal or sensible to burn this coal in America. Why would it be sensible to burn it in Asia or anywhere else? But anyhow, our interest in this is to really preserve and protect salmon streams, because salmon is a renewable resource, and certainly coal is not. And if they go digging 300 to 400 feet down into extract coal like this in salmon producing areas, it's really no way that it can be put back into the natural way that supports salmon now. So we want to protect this stream. We want to keep it the way it is and enjoy it today and share it with you. We've been studying, we've been learning, and it's time to share today on Season Chasers. Silver salmon at Alaska's Chewitna River. Don't trip on that coal. We've got two nice ones out of this pool so far, and I've been throwing lures and kind of slowed down. So we're going to try to harvest some eggs out of this one, what we think is a female, and go ahead and do a little fishing with fresh eggs. Oh yeah, this is a female. Most of the body cavity at this point of their life cycle has gone to reproduction. About 80% of this area in here is eggs. And we're gonna switch over to a small red hook and maybe use a bobber, and we're gonna float it through this pool where we know there are fish and see if we can't trigger a strike on these salmon eggs. That's really the only thing, food source there is to sustain them in here at this time is other fish's eggs. There's not a big bunch of bait fish or anything in here for the salmon to eat, so they show up pretty much with their lunch packed and live off their reserves until they complete their spawning mission. This one hadn't spawned yet, been here a short time. Gonna make some good fillets for the grill, and in the meantime we're gonna rig up these eggs and see if we can't trade that in for a full-size salmon. And that's a good deal if you ask me. That's how we do it here on Season Chasers. Thanks for coming along. Switched over to eggs here. It's meat day, but still it's in a very big one. What do you think, Russell?
I don't know. Yeah,
You
put her
wanna
on.
keep it?
Is it a female?
It's a male.
So keep it if it's a male.
We went the hook.
Kick him on by it. All right.
Next, we run down to the airport to meet a plane bringing in our fresh supplies. More outdoor fun for you coming up next on Season Chasers.
Extreme environments can cause a spontaneous change in DNA, resulting in unexpected power and agility. Introducing the all-new, all-powerful Gator RSX 850i. 62 horsepower, a fully independent multi-link suspension, and a top speed of 53 miles per hour. It's a whole new species of Gator.
Blue Ribbon Farm and Home has nature's best fall decoration. Blue Ribbon Farm and Home has what you need to feed and care for the wild birds. Blue Ribbon Farm and Home sells supplies to attract trophy white-tailed deer. And don't forget, Blue Ribbon Farm and Home has a huge selection of food for dogs. Whether you have a lap dog, a sport dog, chickens, or a goofy goat, Blue Ribbon Farm and Home has all the feeds you'll ever need.
You talk about a goofy goat, and this is the goofy goat right here.
The season is summertime. It's getting toward a little past the middle of August, and we're back at the Pike Lake. And we've been fishing this lake a variety of times a day, mostly in the afternoons and evenings. But today we've got a real calm morning, and we're going to get out here on the lake quite a bit before noon today. And looks like we have very few ripples on the lake today. So Johnny and Russell and I are packing the boat. We're going to set out in search of some northern pike. And Russell's already got one that's in the 45-inch range. And we're going to try to find his big brother today and bring home the action and share it with you on Season Chasers. Northern pike in Alaska. Come join us.
What do you got, Russell?
Looks like I got a pretty good bite.
Oh, yeah, look here.
One.
He's in the boat.
All right. Good gaff, buddy.
Well, I heard that one echo. All right, well, that'll get us started. That's a keeper. And in this area, they're all keepers. Live release of these northern pike is prohibited. What do you think about that, Johnny?
Slaying him. I think Johnny gaffed him good enough.
Yeah, that got him. Okay, here's the two best pike we ended up with today. And we're going to get these back to the cabin. We're going to get them filleted out. We're going to get them ready for the hot grease in the pan. And maybe share a little bit of this with you later on tonight. But we got up early. We got a couple of nice ones. We figured these are right about in the 9-pound range. And we know there's bigger ones in here. But this will do for today. And who knows, we might be back tomorrow. Today, me and Russ and Johnny have walked down to the tidal pools of one of these clear snowmelt streams. And we're targeting the silver salmon that are just coming in. And Russ has two of them on the stringer. I've got one here. And the cool thing about these is they just came in and have sea lice right here on the tail of them, which means they've been out of the salt water for less than a day. The sea lice die once they get into the fresh water and fall off within about 24 hours. But that means these just came out of Cook Inlet and are about as fresh as we can get them at the peak of their life cycle, at the maximum flavor and nutrition. And we're going to fillet these out and get them in the freezer bags and get them over to Anchorage. But Russell and Johnny are having a pretty good trip here so far. Russell's got the biggest pike so far. All right, we got all the fish cleaned. We're going to get our packs all straightened up and head up the hill and head back and have a little lunch at the cabin. But it's been a good cloudy morning here, And that seems to be when the fishing is the best out here. If you have some of these clear streams with real bright sunshine on them, the fish in there don't seem to strike as far. I guess the sun in their eyes affects them just as well as it would be us. But anyway, we've had a cloudy day, and we've selected 6 nice silver salmon to take home. And like I said, that's a dozen fillets. And we're going to go home and clean those up and trim the rib bones out of them, get them vacuum sealed and in the freezer, and headed with the boys back to Anchorage. That's how we do it when we harvest silver salmon in Alaska during the month of August, here on Season Chasers. Thanks for coming along. All right, this is why we walked on down here, to haul out some silver salmon like this. And this is a pretty nice example of the silver coming back to this river. And what are your plans for these, Johnny?
Dinner.
We tried some of it last night, and we're here to tell you it's pretty good. And we're going to do our best to fillet these out. Get them to the freezer. Good job.
Another day in paradise.
Yeah. When you're fishing on this river, you are likely sharing it with a lot of other critters. And here's some pretty deep tracks in the mud that we're following. Looks like a pretty good sized black bear. And it looks like it's got a cub with it over here. So we're going to keep an eye out for the critter that made these tracks, and see if we can stay out of their way and manage to share the river. Have some fun out here where they spend a lot of time. Now here's another track behind me that's most certainly a brown bear track. Now here's one way that you identify the type of bear that's leaving tracks. This is the front paw, and these are the toes, and you can see how far the claw prints fall ahead of these toes. This is a brown bear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And black bear's claws fall closer to the toes, where the brown bear claws are several inches long. And we don't want to see those claws up close or anything, but you sure can tell from looking in the sand what you're sharing the river with. In my professional opinion, the bear that stopped here has been eating berries. Lots and lots and lots of them. And this is the time of year that they try to gain as much weight as they can before they go into the den for hibernation in the really, really cold winter here. But there's a lot of food value to these berries, and it looks like they process some, and we're unable to process the others. But there's food on every corner out here right now. Between the berries and the salmon, there's plenty to eat for the bears, and we're going to keep an eye out for them as we head on down the river today on Season Chasers. Meanwhile, back at the river. It's beginning to get just a little rosy. What do you think? Like the size of that one, Johnny?
Oh yeah,
All right, we'll go ahead and
she's
keep
a
in.
hog.
And I think that'll about do it. Okay, we're relocating on this river, and Johnny's already seen a bear.
Jump me at the truck.
But the reason the bears are down here at the river, some of the same reason for us, the fish and the berries. And Johnny's found some berries around here. We like natural foods, and here's a pretty good example of them. What do you got, Johnny?
Oh, just some fresh raspberries right along this little, looks like an animal trail right on the side of this creek here. Surprised there's any left. But always keep your eyes open for stuff like this, especially when you're out here walking all day. You're pretty hungry.
Wild raspberries now. Some of them aren't quite ripe yet, but a bunch of them are. And what do you think about the taste of that stuff?
About as good as it gets. Right there.
And give it a proper chewing. Pretty good stuff.
Good to go.
Well, that's what the bears like too. And we're gonna go ahead and enjoy a couple of these and work our way back down the river and get back to the fish. But in the meantime, enjoying a few wild raspberries here in Alaska is a pretty good way to keep you going throughout the day, and it keeps the bears going too.
Oh yeah.
And if any bears show up that really need to go home with us, Johnny's ready, right?
Always.
But you passed on that other bear that came up by the truck.
Yeah,
And
just wasn't the right size. I mean, I'm looking for something worth hanging for sure. But I heard it snap. Went and got the shotgun and loaded one up and got ready. But he pretty much snuck right up on me, about 20 feet behind me, jumped out of the bushes, and I had enough time to decide whether or not to shoot him and pull out my camera for a couple shots. So it was pretty cool. Pretty exciting.
that was close enough, then he went the other way, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, well, you let him pass, and but we got to these raspberries before he did, looks like, and we'll enjoy a few more and keep you posted on the fishing progress here in Alaska.
Good.
Time for a visit from Mr. Pike. Let's see if we can get this guy in the boat. He's a good one. Another good one. I got a crank.
There you go.
There we go. He's in the boat.
Good one. Easy things, Johnny's. Look at that hog.
Let's try to get him to calm down. How about that? All right, that gets us started today. I don't think it's as big as the one Russell got yesterday, but we're going to call this one honorable mention.
Let's go.
And the first one in the boat.
That
And I
means,
get a special prize for this.
You get a special prize. Off camera.
All right, let's take a look at this guy. See what we ended up with. Oh, goodness.
Ooh, that's a good one.
This is what we came up here for. Northern Pike in Alaska. and caught this one on a pixie. We're gonna get this one over the side so it doesn't slime the boat anymore, and try to catch a bigger one. That's the whole point of fishing here on Season Chasers. Thank you for coming along. Whew, have a good season, everybody. The season is summertime. It's the first week of September, and there's just a little bit of summer left, but this marks the opening of the hunting season here in southeast Kansas. And we've come out to the Kansas Army Ammunition Plant near Parsons, Kansas for a special hunt here on some cut sunflowers. And been a lot of doves flying today, and we're going to let you in on the action that we got in on here today on Season Chasers. It's dove season. Thanks for coming along. And we've had a really good morning here. Red's been helping us bring back the birds we knocked down, and we've been doing a lot of fast wing shooting here. And these doves are really fast flyers. I've got nearly, well, a little over 2 boxes of these over here to show for the limit of 15 that I got this morning. So a lot of really challenging shots here. They're really tough to hit, but we've got a really good, nice limit of these, and going to get them ready for a special meal coming up real soon. We hope you have a good dove season. Thanks for coming along today on Season Chasers. How about that, Red? You have a good time? You betcha. Let's pick up all these empties and get them out of here. Wow, that's a lot of shooting for no more birds than we got, but hey, that's the way dove season is. But we're glad to get out here and have some fun and enjoy the shooting sports and get it started for the season. After that, we've got pheasant and quail season, we've got deer season, and later on turkey season. So it's all about the seasons, and we're getting started with doves today on Season Chasers. Thanks for coming along.
Waka waka. Tune in each week for some of the stuff you just won't see on other shows. Outdoors, wildlife, and a life of adventure. Being on the lookout for natural foods and making the most of what the wildlife provides. Study, learn, and share the great outdoors with someone who's important to you.